Alright, what's going on? Today I'm going to show you how to make beats for SIB and 2HOLLIS. This is inspired by SIB's newest song called Take It Slow. So yeah, let's get straight into it. The first sound I have here is just a starter I got from Splice. I'll play without effects and then play it with effects and break them down. So here's what it sounded like when I dragged it in. I thought it was just like a really cool, like ethereal type of melody. And then here's what it sounds like with the effects I added onto it. I just kind of wanted to make it a little bit more glitchy and not as like ambient. The first sound I added, or first effect I added, is Loop Raider. I just added this Fluor preset. I don't know from which kit it's from, just using my user bank, but yeah, just like these automations. You could also do like Shaper Box or Effectrix. They all kind of have the same type of thing. Then an EQ to take out the low end, so it's not clashing with any bass. Then a reverb. It was already like ambient on its own, but I wanted to have some reverbs when I like chopped up the sample and the beat. There'd be a little tail so you could hear. It makes the beat sound a little bit more smooth. Next is just OTT. This is just like compressing it, adding some high end, mid end, and like bringing out the quieter frequencies. Then I added another EQ to take out low end because there was too many lows. And the third EQ, I don't know why I added 3 low end EQs, but you only need 1. And yeah, next is these vocal chops. I'll break those down because there's like a lot of different versions I went through to get to like the final version I stayed with. So again, these are just from Splice 2, and this is like the original vocal chop I dragged in. So yeah, that sounded pretty nice, pretty ambient, but I knew I could make it sound a lot better and fit with the beat better. So the first version I have is just this. I added Loop Raider onto it. So Loop Raider right here with this jump preset. And then also the God Particle effects plugin. This is like a compressor, I believe. I'm not exactly sure what it does, but it just makes like the melody sound more like full and like, I don't even know how to explain it, but it makes it sound better basically. It's like, I think it is a compressor or a limiter or something like that. But I automated the Loop Raider and just got this. So yeah, with that, it's just like I just took this first part and copied it over for the first 4 bars, and I did this like reverse thing with I'm not sure, maybe I might just put this melody itself, and got some like used some different chops at the end. And yeah, I'm not sure if I used every single part of this, but I think I tried to. And yeah, that was the second version, and then I exported that out again and got this. These are like manual chops that I did. Just like I took I can show you how I did it. I take one part and then this part, so I delete this part and then delete this part, and then I copy this over, and that's like 8 chops basically. And I just take the end out with the tail, and that's how I got that melody, or that chop I mean. And then again, it's like a reverse thing, just some more chops and just doing whatever. And here's this third version of the vocal chops. This is inspired by another like new SIB song. I don't remember what it's called, but it has some like cool vocal chops like this in a lot of the song. This was the third version of the vocal chops I got, or the 4th version I mean. And this is just the same as this. It's just exported out, but I automated some reverb to make them sound a little bit more smooth. So here's what this sounds like. So yeah, those sound really cool. And yeah, this is the final version of the vocal chops, so here's what they sound like. And yeah, just on those, I did some reverb taking out low end, or an EQ taking out low end, and a little bit of reverb. So yeah, vocal chops, a little bit complex. I just started out with the splice thing, and then literally just used Looperator to get the main idea of it, and then went in myself and chopped it out manually. And then reverb automation. Nothing too complex though, like nothing you can't do. You don't really need that much experience to do vocal chops. Just chop up, make it sound how you want, and that's all you gotta do. So after I had these two like solid like bass parts of the melody, I wanted to start adding some of my own sounds. So what I did is I used Melodies, which is it's like an effects plugin basically, but it doesn't actually add any effects. If you're not familiar with Melodies, what it does is you record in a melody like this, and then it turns that melody into a MIDI file. So I can show you real quick like an example of that. So here is this like pad sound, and I'm gonna record it in, and then I'll turn it into MIDI. So as you can see here, turn that into MIDI. And yeah, this is like what I did to get the next part of the melody, which is a piano. So I recorded this pad sound here into MIDI and put it in a piano. I had to alter it like a little bit, change some notes to be on time, quantize it and stuff. But once I did that, I got this melody. I just copied over these 4 bars to the next ones, because sometimes like the melody does weird stuff on the second part. I don't know, whatever. Point is, this is the melody I got after turning that melody into MIDI. I use this classic piano from Synology, and it sounds like this. So yeah, it just sounds really nice. Clean piano from Synology, a little bit of reverb, EQ taking out low end, and then a fresh air. This VST just like boosts high end. It's like an EQ, but I don't know, just for high end and mid end. And yeah, just boosted the high end to like compress it a little bit more. I'm noticing a lot of Nate SIB songs, he doesn't try to make his piano sound too natural. Like he kind of lets them sound like VST, like, you know, like fake, I guess you could say. And he kind of like pushes that sometimes, even like extra, and overly compresses them. So for the next thing, it's just another piano I layered. It was the Lab Soft piano. The Lab Soft piano sounds really nice. It's like one of my favorite pianos to use. I usually layer it with another piano because it's like very soft, as in the name. But the thing right here, I'd usually drag it up, and that like brings out some more tone in it. I think it's like called tone or something. I don't know. Anyways, this is the Lab Soft piano layer. So as you can hear, that one is like really, really nice. Really natural. It sounds like a real piano almost. But I compressed it with some fresh air, boosted the fuck out of these high end and mid end. Added an EQ, taking out low end and boosting high mid. And then an OTT, just compressing it a little bit more. And then I also randomized the velocities, so it's a little bit different than this other one. And yeah, that's it for the piano. Next, I just moved on to the bass. I layered 2 basses. This first bass is called Sonic. It's from my Rod Made It kit. What I did is I chopped up the basses to be like a stab bass, not just like a smooth like saw bass or whatever. And yeah, got like a plucky pattern. And then I also added on the bass a shaper box to sidechain it with the kick. And yeah, here's what it sounds like. So yeah, it sounds really smooth. And then the second bass I added is from Pigments, and that's more of like a pluck bass. It's called Bass de Rave, and it sounds like this. As you can hear, that sidechain on it is making it sound like really weird, but without it, it does sound like a lot cleaner. Even though sidechain kind of makes it sound worse on its own, it sounds better in the overall mix because it blends better with the kick. And next thing here is the kick, which I use just a 4 on the floor pattern. It sounds like this. So this is the Skrillex kick. It's from an Aiden made kit. That's where all the drums in this beat are from. And the only thing I did on that kick was add like some high end. I just boosted that so it was a little bit more clicky. And 4-on-the-floor pattern, like I said, but I took out the last note every 3 bars or every 2 bars. I mean, next thing is just snare on the upbeat. It sounds like this. It's just like a distorted, kind of like crushed snare, but it blends well with the kick. The last melody sound I added here is just this from Pigments. It's like a key or a lead or something. Just like an extra little ambient layer in the back. It's called Celestian Blue. And yeah, I just got this MIDI. I think I played it on my laptop keyboard, but with this button right here, you can turn your typing keyboard into a piano keyboard. So I just set whichever the key of the beat was, which was A major, and I just played this, and it sounds like this. On that, I did fresh air, again boosting the high and mid end a lot. This shaper box preset, which I don't really hear it that much, but it's just like adding a little bit of filter, volume automation, an EQ, taking out low end and boosting some mid end, and then a delay. And yeah, that's all the melody layers. I'll play what they sound like in a second, but there's one last drum layer. These aren't really drums, but it's like a white noise percussion sound and then also a reversed hi-hat. So I'll play what they sound like just together because they're like, I don't know, whatever. So yeah, these are just adding like bounce to the drums. I'm like sliding this perk with the slide notes. And I'm just kind of treating it almost like a snare. And this is like a reverse open hat, which I use to like fade into the snare that hits right here. And then yeah, in terms of these like white noise perks, it's just kind of like chopping it randomly. Again, it's almost like it's a snare, but it's a perk. I think Nate SIB does this in his own beats, so it's something I got from listening to his songs. Play what the melody sound like together, and then the drums, so y'all can hear what those each sound like. There's what the whole melody sounds like. Yeah, so the overall idea for these melodies is like ambient, but also like virtual with some like natural elements like the vocals. And then the drums, they just sound like this. But yeah, overall, simple beat. I'll thank y'all for watching. If you want to get my kids, you can go to Heyitsshark.com and check all those out. I didn't use any of them in this beat, but I do have a kit which I just dropped for like 2HOLLIS type of beats, Nate SIB type of beats as well. It's called Trauma. You can check that out. First link in the description. And yeah, let me know what other videos you want me to do. I'll see y'all next time.